And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Leo. Welcome to Koi Plays Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a set of quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are back up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? So, Leo, what are we looking at in this round of reads? This is going to be your one-on-one set of readings for the month of July. One-on-ones being a silent reading that I do with party A over here, party B over here, and we try to see the intricate dynamics happening between the two. So, two major caveats to this silent read. The first, just because this is an intimate dynamic, oftentimes that happens. People have a tendency to call these love readings. I reject that terminology because it's not always lovely, right? We talk about everything at this table, not just rainbows and butterflies. So that's the first. And the second, it doesn't always have to be about love. Promise you. It can be about a family member, friend, coworker, somebody you just met, right? Just what's happening between this person and this person, what's going on there. So as a preamble to this read, Leo, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. At times, if it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, am not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I have 12 signs to work with and none of the time to lie to any of them. Instead, we're going to lay our cards out on the table. And good or bad, come here, sunshine, we'll talk about it because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one. Yeah. So follow along with me in your one-to-one read today, Leo. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. You're going to be over here. The person's going to be over here. Show us the cards that we need to see, please, for Leo in this read. For the Leo Collective, one-to-one, what is going on with their read today? On your side, okay, Three of Pentacles. So finding the relationship dynamic workable on their end, the Eight of Pentacles. Oh, okay. So more on the business end or contractual end, I'm seeing there is a relational dynamic going on where we establish, okay, I recognize Leo's game. Not trying to say, that in a malicious way, Leo, but Leo's got chops, right? There is a value or the idea of accreditation, like put some respect on their name, right? On your end, you're saying that this is a workable dynamic, right? So we both could gain benefit out of this arrangement. How do we work with it? How do we make it operate? Okay, so this is very much functionality, kicking right out the gate, saying, hey, this is a workable dynamic, and we recognize that both hold mutually beneficial talents. Okay, now that we have that each established, let's look at fronts and backs. Fronts and backs being the backs, what's being left in the unsaid and the unknown, the fronts being what's most directly communicated between two parties. Okay, so as guys, we to see, please, fronts and backs for Leo in this reading. What are the cards we need to see, please? Oh, interesting. Okay, so starting with the fronts and backs. To your back, Leo, a Four of Wands, wanting a much deeper and more involved relationship. What's being directly communicated? We're taking action. Okay. So, hey, this is my decision. This is what I want. How do you feel about it? Directly stating, this is my process. This is how I see it. I'm finally not simply worked up the courage to do it, but also recognize, no, there's more here than just I like you. Cool. On their end, okay, the Ten of Pentacles. And what's going along with that Ten of Pentacles? Okay. Eight of Cups. So, a condition is set. here, what I talked about in the beginning with their Eight of Pentacles, Leo, is that both recognize that, hey, this could be a beneficial arrangement for both of us, right? One says it's more collaborative, the other one acknowledging, everything that is brought to the table. When you have the King of Swords talking to that Ten of Pentacles right there, what they're trying to lay out is, here's how I map my life out. And that Eight of Cups now coming out in their background. Either I walk away from something to get to this, or I gotta walk away from you if the arrangement isn't right? There's something here that they cannot really risk. And I don't necessarily sense, blatant hostility or malicious intent with the Eight of Cups, but they made it very clear, here is what I need. And while the feelings are good and we do vibe with each other, is that enough to sustain? Right? That's the bigger question. I think the underlying question that's happening between you two right now, is that enough to sustain between the both of us? Okay? Interesting. Okay. So what about individual positions? Show the cards we need to see, please, for Leo and their read. Individual positions for them and their person. Queen of Pentacles. Nice. Still saying I could do the best with everything that we are given. If we could start, we could build anything that we want to together. So this, again, this effort of collaboration and maximization on their end. The Queen of Swords. Ooh, I said what I said. Okay. Well, I think right now we're both trying to get at the same point, which is, can this or can this not work? Right? On your end, very much saying, insisting, hey, we have all the basic elements of it. Why not give it a shot? We can give it a go. On their end, they're very serious, Leo. If this does not work out, it's not necessarily hard feelings. I just cannot risk that right now, right? I don't think it's necessarily geared towards you of saying, you're not enough or anything of that nature, but rather the fact that if this agreement that we have between each other is broken or alters in any way, I gotta leave. Again, there's an outside factor influencing that. It could be finances, potentially children for some of the Leo collective. There's just something they cannot risk, and therefore their position does not budge. Not because they don't want to hear you out, but rather because they do. Okay? Underneath it all, Temperance. It made time open up different opportunities and avenues here, letting time work its magic, right? Giving us the chance to say this can be different if we give it a shot. Okay? Next. Yeah. So now that we have two parties looking at each other, one towards the other, 1-to-1, let's look at what's happening down the middle in between. Show us cards we need to see, please, for the Leo collective in their 1-to-1 read today. In that little pause, that hesitation earlier, I was trying to decide which deck I wanted to use, but we'll keep to the norm. What is the bridge that connects these two? What is shared? Down the middle. Okay, yeah, that makes sense given the context. Justice, the scales of equity. How do we do this in a fair and balanced manner? Eight of Cups. Okay, what is shared? I think both of you, although it's more blatantly obvious for them on their end, Leo, you two would have to give something up to make this work. So we either do it or we don't. But if we part ways from each other, it's not necessarily hard feelings. I don't hate you. I just understand that it just couldn't work out, right? That's actually very respectable and very amicable on both sides because you agreed, you did the right thing and said, hey, maybe this can't work out between us, and that's cool. Okay. King of Wands. And what we're given, we do the best with what we got. Four of Swords, relaxing in our decision, recuperating, being able to reapply and reanalyze. And the Queen of Pentacles coming out again. Let us make the best of it. Whatever we got, whatever we want to build together, we're going to do it to the best of both of our abilities. And we'll meet each other. I hate to say that this sounds like a contract, but it almost does. We will fulfill our obligations on each side of this contract. The scales will be even. Okay? Underneath it all, death. Or Scorpio. Here, transformation. I don't necessarily see, because there aren't really any signs that either party wants to shut the other out, but rather the line has been drawn in the sand. We have to say this is where it is, this is what's going on. And more than that, with transformation, hey, I gotta accept whatever comes my way. Right? Now we said we're gonna work on this together. Let's work on this together, brick by brick. That's very, I mean, is it the most, energetic and exciting thing to hear? No. But that is also both parties coming to a level of commitment, being very direct with intentionality. Show me your intentions. I'll show you what we can do. Okay? Last, as we move towards resolution, define the major arcana, strewn across the table in this read. And I only see one. Yes. What about justice in this read? Show us the cards we need to see, please. Define the balance and equity. Okay. Seven of Swords. Well, I mean, that makes sense. So everything that doesn't seem directly, equitable, or, I'd really like to know more, but I'm trying. Wow, it really is getting hot in here. Give me 1 second. I thought that was just me. Tarot card readers are people too. Whatever isn't, made blatantly obvious to you on their end or you to them, it will come with time. And both of you are very expectant about that because both of you were being honest. There's just some details that they weren't willing to divulge or things they weren't willing to budge from. We will learn them given time and due balance. Okay? Resolution. Ace of Swords. Where there is truth, there is choice. The Emperor. Underneath it all, Six of Wands. A victory is had. So, what's going on here, Leo? We fulfill our ends of the agreement, right? Between you and them, for whatever dynamic or whatever arrangement we have between each other, they were very adamant that there's a reason that either we go all out for it and I have to walk away from other aspects, or I have to leave this opportunity between, sorry about the hiccups, this opportunity between you and I behind. Right? I can't really budge on that. However, down the middle, it's not necessarily malicious intent between the two parties. It's just, the terms and agreements have been laid out. Now we have to fulfill them. Let opportunity, let time, let everything happen as they should. Just give it your best, and they promise to do it in the return. Okay? That's why I got for you in your read today, Leo. I hope this conversation helped. And yeah, when it comes to this contract, a lot can be gained, but a lot has to be fulfilled first. Keep up your end of the bargain, and it seems like they want to for you as well. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.